Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again. You know, lately, and well, really for quite some time now, we've spent a lot of time as a people, as a nation, talking about terrorism. And I was just thinking how many of us might not even know what terrorism is. Many of us associate terrorism as a bomb being exploded, some people getting hurt, some people covered up basically so they can't be identified as they do and bring harm to others. Some of us might just interpret terrorism as that and that alone. And so I'm wondering if that might play a role in why we are not dealing with the problem of truly solving the problems of terrorism. And when I think of terrorism, do we say terrorism really is? Well, excuse me, I got something here in my eye. What do we say that terrorism really is? Well, to begin with, you would say that terrorism is founded on a principle of selfishness. Terrorism is found on the principle of selfishness. Now, if selfishness did not exist, it means that all of the individuals involved would see themselves as essential in playing a part in whatever they're involved in. It's like each one has a role to play, and they expect each one to actually play that role. That way, the game is not really that complicated because you're only restricted are required to do that what you have to do. But usually in selfishness, you either got to do it all or you got to use somebody else to do that which you don't do. And I said use. So we look at selfishness as being a primary essential ingredient for the foundation of terrorism. And we see what would resolve terrorism right there for you to associate and compare. Now, when we see terrorism rising to the extent that it is today, what does it say? It says that selfishness is, I want to make this so simple for you to understand. It says this, that selfishness has prioritized itself to such a degree that there's poverty across the land, in your city, in your town, in your state, in your nation, in our world. Poverty. There's crime as a result of this. There's violence as a result of this. And selfishness has, rather than trying to resolve the problem, rather than trying to get rid of some of the selfishness, has come up with a way of trying to force it to be acceptable, to force it to be a state of existence, accepting it or going to jail, accepting it or losing and breaking down the whole nation, while more power is extended to the one that's selfish. Now, selfishness to me represents mankind's view of man, himself, themselves. To not be selfish, meaning being a part of that team I mentioned, basically means that there is someone else in control. Every team has someone else in control. And ultimately, I would like to suggest that the power that is in control is a spiritual power. A spiritual power of doing good. Not being selfish, but doing good, making sure that everybody, this is a great, great love. It's a great, great understanding. How do you think it feels to have to build your house, to have to grow your food, to have to do everything that needs to be done as we have established it in life by ourselves? Can you imagine what a travesty? But to have it done in such a way that different parts of it is done by different individuals, all to bring together that which we now have that we didn't have to do ourselves. But think about how great that would be if each of us who applied ourselves were doing it in areas that were the greatest that we could imagine for ourselves. It allows us to give the best, to want to be the best in whatever we offer. When I say want to be the best that we can be. Not better than you, but the best that we can be in the role that we have been given to serve. And as a consequence, we're riding high on something that's fantastic that the world really can't give us. And the world can't take it away. It comes from that spirit as a reward of doing what is good for our whole spirit. And our whole spirit is represented in all of us, the people. And we do not allow something like selfishness to rob us of this, because we know how we are as individuals. We know and we choose not to be so, but to be guided by something that's bigger than you and I. Something that's bigger than you and I, who makes mountains, who makes trees, who makes rivers flow. That we like to yield our power to. And in so doing, we bless every human being on the face of the earth. And we got no shame in our game. And we understand when we look at the world and see our world operating, even here in the United States of America, we're getting ready to have a presidential election. And we got people standing up on the platform of Republicans talking about how great thou art. And we know, if we lived in a time, that they are not great at all. And we got people standing up on the platform of Democrats talking about how great they are. And if you lived any amount of time, you know that they are not great at all. And so I ask, why do we even consider this? Is it because it's constantly on TV? Is it because it is constantly put before us? And if it is, it does nothing but vindicate us on our knowledge. Because as they speak to us today, they say nothing about what they can do that has not been done or has not been promised. So I say to you, ladies and gentlemen, the power to change this thing is not in your representative's hand. It is not in your preacher's hands. It is in your hands. Because every man must stand before the power of that life that is in them themselves, and nobody else can stand there with you. You can let a whole nation go if it's traveling down the wrong road, and you know better. Why would you follow? The power of life says turn around and go the way of life. And if every man does everything they possibly can to turn off your light, you make sure you keep on struggling. Keep on struggling, going the way the light leads you. And if they finally find some way to snap you out, it only releases you to the brighter light and cuts out the light that they had. And now they're living in total darkness. Not because it's your will, not because it's the will of the power of life, but it is their choice. Their choice is expressed in their actions. And that action has resulted in all the lights being out. So I say to you, ladies and gentlemen, when we start talking about terrorism, we have to start thinking about what creates it. Knowing that, we can know how to resolve it. Now, I don't hear anybody talking about resolving terrorism. All I hear is people talking about fighting terrorism. Fighting terrorism. The terrorists fighting the terrorists, and the terrorist results. No one is speaking about ending terrorism in the sense that it can be done. The sense that it can be done is to resolve the issues for which it stands. Why? Because we are all team players. We are not this nation or that nation first. First, we are the nation of the Creator. We are the nation of the Creator. And then we break our little areas down. But we all are working together for the common cause for which we are created. And it is not to fight, but to work our lives, to live our lives. In so doing, greatness, which is responsible for the planets, for the galaxies, and all the small things like people and aliens and pianos, microwaves. This is a time for a new day, ladies and gentlemen. We should not be thinking about Republican and Democrat. That's a bunch of wash. It was sold out a long time ago. It needs to be done like the shuttles, put somewhere and mothballed. And we the people speak up in our respect for one another, representing our love and honor of our unseen power. And we will benefit. We will benefit. No more terrorism. No more sons and daughters, mothers and fathers being killed in war and battle that profits some at the expense of others. No more taking the lives of thousands of others just because they don't listen to what we have to say. And when I say we, I'm talking about all of us who kill. I petition you all. I petition the world to let us change our way. Let us remove selfishness. Let us try the right thing. Let us forget about, in the sense that we're still marching after yesterday's triumphs. Let us put it aside and think about the future and realize that that future is founded on today. And let us, ladies and gentlemen, let us give it life. Let us give it life. We're not waiting for anybody. Let us, as a people, give it life. And if we don't like life, then we can come back to where we're at or wherever we want to go. But let's now give it life. I think that's about all I can give to you at this moment. You know I will be back. I'm constantly saying, please, the future, whether it's good or not, is in our hands today. Let us not put that responsibility off on our children. Let us not do that to our grandchildren. Let us do it today. Because if they can do it, you know why they can do it? Because we can too. So let us step on up and be responsible. Bye-bye.